Hello, and welcome to the Candidate Forum for the Mayor of White Bear Lake. I am Liz Nordling, a member of the League of Women Voters of the White Bear Lake area. I do not live in the city of White Bear Lake. I'm a League of Women Voters trained moderator. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan volunteer organization which encourages citizens to participate in government. Our mission is to support voter education and voters' rights. Though the League studies and takes positions on issues, we do not support or oppose any candidate or political party. Our goal is to encourage citizens to learn more about the positions of the candidates who will be on your ballot on November 4th. All candidates who filed to run for this position were invited to participate. They are Stephen LaLiberte and Mary Nicklawski. To begin, each candidate will introduce themselves by name and make an opening statement of up to 1 minute. Following the opening statement, candidates will respond in alphabetical order. Therefore, the order of speaking will be rotated, and candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. When questions are finished, candidates will have 1 minute for their closing statement, and that will be in reverse alphabetical order. Questions were received in advance from the public and reviewed by a committee of League members. We will not use questions that are unclear, hostile, or of a personal nature. We may consolidate questions that fall into the same general topic area. All questions submitted are the property of the League of Women Voters. This forum is being recorded today by SCC. The complete unedited recording will be posted on our League's website and YouTube channel and may be replayed on the local cable channel. Editing is authorized only for official media reporting. Excerpts or edited clips of this forum may not be used for partisan or political purposes. We'll begin now with opening statements, and we will start first with Steve LaLiberte.
Hi, my name is Stephen LaLiberte. I'm running for mayor because I love this city, and I've got lots of experience. I've served on the Birch Lake Improvement District for the past 12 years as board member and as chair. We have taxing authority, so every year I present our tax levy to the city council, and I represent our membership. I'm also an experienced business professional. I have started and sold 6 companies. I still own 1 company, so I've managed budgets. I've had to manage employees. I understand how things work. And I've also participated in lots of civic organizations. I've been a member of the Rotary. I'm currently a member of the Lions Club. And now I'm partially retired, and I'd like to spend the last part of my career serving my city. Thank you.
Thank you. Now with her opening statement is Mary Nicklawski.
Hi, I'm Mary Nicklawski. I'm running for mayor of White Bear Lake. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here today. I'm a 16-year resident of White Bear Lake. I grew up not too far down the road in North St. Paul, and I spent my summers riding my bike down Bellaire Avenue to go to Bellaire Beach, and that's where I fell in love with White Bear Lake. I raised my son here. I have a degree in sociology and a master's degree in blind rehabilitation. I'm from a family of veterans, and I started out my career working with veterans. Then I went on to work with children in schools, and then I went on to run my own business working with blind and visually impaired people all around the state of Minnesota. I have a lot of experience with running auctions, and I did a volunteer auction run for St. Mary of the Lake School, where I learned how to run meetings, how to really combine community and make sure people are working towards a common goal. I've had to work with budgets in my work and in those auctions. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go on to the first question. It goes to you first, Mary.
Okay.
Given that the White Bear Lake operates under a weak mayor system, talk about how you would fulfill the role of mayor.
Yeah, I really feel like the mayor has the biggest part in bringing this community together. I think our community, we're in divisive times right now, and I think we really need to focus on community. I'm very, very good with working with people. I've worked with people from all walks of life. In my blindness does not discriminate, so I've worked with the richest of rich, the poorest of poor, and everywhere in between, every race, culture, creed. And I would like to bring people together for the common good. I'm very good at collaborating. I'm also very good at bringing the common good together. I would like people to speak up. I would like to advance our communication system so people feel like they have a say in what's happening here. And I also would like to bring the city council members together to work towards a common good for White Bear Lake.
Thank you. The question now goes to Stephen.
You know, when I learned that the mayor is a weak position, I thought, what the heck does that mean? And it basically means the mayor does not have a vote with the city council. However, it's not that weak because the mayor has significant influence over setting the agenda and also has veto authority. And so even though it's termed as weak, the mayor has significant influence. And I intend to use that influence to make sure that issues that are in front of the city council are properly and transparently presented to the public. We're going through the city budgeting process right now. There's a lot of information that's available to the city council. It won't be available to the public until late in November and then a vote in December. It's just not transparent. I will change that.
Any additional comments?
I feel that we are a fairly transparent city. We have a lot of resources that come out to the community that let them know what's happening, and we allow them and want them to come into our meetings when we're talking and trying to decide. I would like to bring more communication to the city as well so that we can make sure we're hearing from everybody and that everybody knows how to get in touch with us.
Thank you. Additional comments, Steve?
Yeah, in the current situation, the city is advancing a 7% tax increase, and it's really centered around 7 additional staff, and the transparency hasn't said what those staff members are going to be. And I just think that's a dialogue that we should have through our council people. Nobody's holding town meetings, and it's a very, very important issue.
Thank you. The next question goes to you first, Stephen. Describe how you will work with the city manager.
I will work with the city manager on a regular basis. I've not had the opportunity to spend too much time with Lindy, but she strikes me as very, very, very competent. She knows her business. She cares for the employees. And I hope to be a coach and an influence and then represent the things that the city needs to do. Our charter is police, fire, sewer, water, streets, parks. We need to make sure that we do that efficiently. She has the authority to do that, the budget to do that, and I will help her fulfill that call. Thank you.
Thank you. The question now goes to Mary.
Yeah, through my work and through my volunteer positions, I have the opportunity to work with a host of different people. And I'm used to working with people and combining resources and collaborating and using their expertise and their knowledge of what's going on at the city. I know Lindy Crawford, and I will work hard to always be in contact with her through this whole process of running for mayor. I've been in close contact with her with questions that I've gotten from people at out in the community at doorsteps. Lindy is very on top of things that are happening here at the city. She runs a very tight budget, and I will encourage her to continue to do her great work and support her. I will also support the people of White Bear Lake and what their wishes are and bring that to her with respect.
Thank you. Any additional comments?
This is just kind of on a personal thing. When I meet people, I tend to get a general impression, and the impression I got of Lindy was Mama Bear. She's very protective of this city that we call White Bear, and I love that.
Thank you. Additional comment, Mary?
No.
We'll move on to the next question. It goes to you first, Mary. Both of you reside in the north end of White Bear Lake. How will you work with the 5 city council members to learn about the concerns of residents in all areas of the city?
Yes, during my campaign, I have been out in all those areas of the city. That is one of my biggest focuses, is trying to make sure we are paying attention to all 5 wards. We have 5 wonderful neighborhoods in this city, and there's different needs in each ward. I think a lot of focus sometimes comes on to the north side. I've heard that a lot at the doorsteps. I want to make sure that we're taking care of the parks that are in our other wards. I want to make sure we're bringing some of the community activities, such as the Touch-A-Truck. We could bring that into the south side. We tend to bring a lot of the activities here on the north side. I'd like to expand some of those into the south side and the other communities and make sure we're listening to what's happening in those other communities. I had somebody out on a doorstep feeling like they weren't getting as much policing as the north side was. I reached out to the police chief and talked to him about that. I would like to listen to them, hear their concerns, and make sure they are just as much of the part of the community as everyone else.
Thank you. Question goes to Stephen.
I, too, have been out door knocking throughout the city, and it amazes me. I grew up in Columbia Heights, and my parents were going to buy a house in White Bear on Dorothy Street. My mom's name is Dorothy. And when I went, it's just, this is where I grew up. The houses were built in the same times. The turn of the different families are very similar. And so in my door knocking, I encountered a number of different types of people. I encountered many retired people that were basically hanging on to their house as long as they could. I encountered a lot of young families. And so in both cases, the majority need was, we're having a hard time making ends meet, and a big part of that is the increased cost of our housing, the taxes, the insurance, utilities. Stop. Thank you very much.
Any additional comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that is a concern. The taxes are a concern, and what I remind people is that, you know, if we take $1 of your taxes that you're paying, 22 cents of that is going to the city, and that is taking care of all our roads, our snowplows, our fire and police and ambulance, which are imperative to this city. Lindy Crawford runs a really lean budget, and I just don't know what we would cut from that. I think if we want to help people in the community, we need to focus more on how we can lower taxes with the county or the school system.
Thank you. Any additional comments, Stephen?
Well, one of the issues on taxes is that, yeah, it's only 22%, but it's still a cut.
22 cents.
22 cents out of $1. That's 22%. Anyway, groceries, another 10 or 15% going up. Utilities, another 10 or 15%. Our citizens are being cut in 100 different ways with various inflationary things. We can do our little bit to help control that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question goes to you first, Stephen. The city owns several properties that provide opportunities for development, such as County Road and Bellaire Avenue and the old Public Works site. What ideas do you have for development in each of these sites?
Quite frankly, I do not have ideas or preferences for those. I am not going to be an activist mayor. I'm not coming in with an agenda. I will listen to individuals. I believe in representative government. I will listen to the city council members. I will listen to developers. Together, as a governing body, we will decide what is the best use of those properties for our community.
Thank you. The question goes to Mary.
Yeah, I have a few ideas, especially for our seniors. I think one of the issues we have in White Bear Lake is that we have a very fast and high aging population, one of the highest in the states per capita. And I think that if we can find a place for attainable housing for our seniors to move into, those seniors that don't want to stay in their homes anymore, have a place like Pioneer Manor on the north side to go to, which is run by the city. Pioneer Manor is run by the city and is a place for attainable housing for seniors. And I would like to see one of those on the south side. So one of those development situations I would like to see for our seniors so that they can stay in their community and live in a safe place by their families. And I think that will open up housing for our younger families to move in to White Bear Lake. I think if we can develop smartly, we can make sure we protect this community for future generations.
Thank you. Additional comments?
I've read our senior charter, or our city charter, and you know it's really clear: police, fire, sewer, water, streets, parks. Doesn't say that we should be providing subsidized housing. I believe the market can do that, and if that is what is in demand, we will see developers that will bring that forward, and we'll go through our process of objective, representative government on that issue.
Thank you. Additional comment?
Yeah, as a caregiver of a mother who had Alzheimer's, I know how expensive some of these new places that are coming up, and the market doesn't seem to be driving that. So our seniors are being forced to stay in their homes longer than needed, which is making our housing less available to families. And I think that there's a role in the city. It doesn't cost the city taxpayers any money to have a Pioneer Manor and to give that opportunity to our seniors to live in an affordable place that is near their family.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. It goes to you first, Mary. White Bear Lake prides itself on its green spaces. How could the city ensure that our 24 parks are maintained and enhanced in order to best serve our residents into the future?
Yeah, I think our Parks Commission does a great job on making sure all our parks are taken care of. I think that we are trying really hard with our Bruce Vento Trail to connect those parks to the rest of the city. We are also trying really hard with the lake links to bring that around. I feel that we need to focus a little bit more on some of the parks on the south side of White Bear Lake or the west side of 61 that I think sometimes don't get as much attention as the other areas, and I would like to make sure that we follow the Park Commission's recommendations and try to work with volunteers. I think a lot of people would be willing to help out in getting our parks up to speed for our children, because our children are our #1 resource here in White Bear. I think volunteers would come in to help make sure we are keeping those parks open, safe, and accessible to all kids.
Thank you. The question now goes to Stephen.
First and foremost, we need to keep the Parks Department funded, and that's happening. That's in the budget. I would like to see more emphasis on civic organizations' utilizations of the park. You know, we see some wonderful things going on in the downtown area. You know, we got the downtown group that's doing the pumpkin thing, and you know, perhaps we can encourage other groups to do things in other parks that bring those. I know the Lions are reaching out with different activities, the Rotary. Part of what I'm after is getting our citizens to engage more with civic activities. And focus on the parks is a great thing because everybody's got a park nearby. They use it, they're concerned about it. It may be easy to get volunteers to dig into a program in that direction.
Thank you. Additional comments?
No.
We'll move on to the next question. It goes to you first, Stephen. What mechanisms would you put into place to monitor residents' satisfaction with White Bear Lake City Services?
That's a great question. You know, I've spent my career in media, both print and digital, and it's always a challenge to equally represent everybody in surveys. So, you know, the tendency now is digital. Oh, let's put up a survey on the website, let's promote it, you can answer it on your phone, and there's a certain part of the population that will respond to that. We also can send out print surveys where they send them back. That's expensive. Somebody's got to print it, you got to mail it, you got to bring it back in. I'm a fan of more town halls. In my campaign, I'm doing 6 meet and greets. Come and see me, and if I'm mayor, I'm going to do regular town halls in all of the different wards to try and get that input.
Thank you. The question now goes to Mary.
Could you repeat the question, please?
What mechanisms would you put in place to monitor residents' satisfaction with White Bear Lake City Services?
Yeah, I think communication is a very big thing that we need to get right in White Bear. Currently, our system is the website. We have some Facebook, and we also have a flyer that goes out. I think it's 3 times a year, and people use the newspaper. I think we do need to up our game with communications. I think we need to reach out to multi-generational, so a lot of people read the paper and things about what's going on at City Hall are in the paper, but the younger generation doesn't read the paper. So I would like to try to set up some type of system where there's more maybe texting going out. I know there was a situation in White Bear or in Montemedi where they had to alert people that there was something going on. I would love to see some type of texting situation that people could sign up for. So if there was an emergency in our city, they could sign up to get more information. I also would like to have places around the city where people can come and talk with me and learn about our city, and that they are allowed to come into the city for.
Any additional comments?
I'm gonna put the squeeze on the city council members. I've been here for 25 years. I've never had my city council member do anything in my community other than knock on my door and ask for a vote. And so I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure on them, say, hey, you guys, you people need to do this in your ward. That's what you're elected for, is to represent your people. You need to talk to them.
Thank you. Additional comment?
I agree, and I think that can come with having community potlucks, educating the community. We have a Citizens Academy that the fire department and police department do with people. I would love to see that all citywide, so people can learn about what's going on at the city and how they can get involved, and learn about coming to the city council meetings on every second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
Thank you. Next question goes to you first, Mary. How will you talk realistically with residents about the tension involved in planning a city budget that allows high-quality personnel and services and that is responsive to public concerns about taxes and levies?
Yeah, I think getting out and talking with people, when I'm door knocking, I'm listening to what people are liking and not liking about White Bear, and most of the comments are people love White Bear. I would like to make sure that I am listening. I work with people who are blind and visually impaired. They have become blind in their lifetime, so they're going through very challenging times. And I had a 33-year career working with this, and I am used to coming to people and finding out what their needs are, what their goals are, and then helping them achieve that, and helping them see what a need is versus what a want is, and I want to continue to do that in the city of White Bear Lake.
Thank you. The question goes to Stephen.
As chair of the Birch Lake Improvement District, we advanced a 3% tax increase to our membership, and the city council just approved that. And one of the reasons we could do that is some years ago, we used to own and operate our own harvester. And that's what the board wanted to do. We bought one, we'd recruit members to drive it, and then it broke down. And we discovered that we could not only get better service, but we could get it cheaper by subcontracting. So one of the things I'm going to do is sharpen the pencil at city budget to say, where could we subcontract and actually get better services for less dollar amount, and then potentially even cut the budget or use those dollars in other areas that we want to improve.
Thank you. Additional comments?
Yes, I'm just wondering, Steve, where you would cut the budget. I mean, do we cut a firefighter? Do we cut a police officer? How do we, we're running a very, very lean budget with our 22 cents. Even the current mayor has said he went in and tried to find where he could bring it down, and he was not able to. I just would like to know who you would cut.
It goes back to city charter. Protect police, fire, parks, roads. None of the cuts would be in those areas. And this wouldn't necessarily be a service cut. It is simply more efficiently spending your dollars. And so the idea is the service might actually get better, but the cost would go down. Is that an evaluation that happens in the city today? I don't know.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question, and it goes to you first, Stephen. As mayor, one of your responsibilities is to appoint residents to advisory boards and commissions. How will you approach this responsibility? Would you support term limits for these positions?
Boy, that's a tough question, because I've got some friends who've been serving on those city boards and doing a wonderful, wonderful job for years and years. And so term limits, I'm not so sure, because it's really hard to get people to do those jobs. That's very, very hard to do. And so, the recruiting process, I believe, is part of having more town halls, because you need to meet people, you need to understand the people that have a fire for the quality of the city, and you need to talk them into serving, and it's really hard to do. It's like in this election, there's going to be 6,000 people out of 16,000 that are going to vote. It's really, really hard to get our citizens to rise up and serve. So part of my mission will be a call to just allocate some of your time to civic duty. And, we're all busy and we all have our lives. And part of why I'm running is I haven't done enough of that, and I intend to change that.
Thank you. The question now goes to Mary.
Yeah, could you repeat the question, please?
As mayor, one of your responsibilities is to appoint residents to advisory boards and commissions. How will you approach this responsibility, and would you support term limits for these positions?
Yes, I would have interviews with people. I think we have a lot of very talented people out, and one of the things I did as a person who ran auctions was I was able to tap into whose expertise were going to help bring something to our auction, and whose expertise could I use to make sure that we were getting a full view of everything in the city. And that's what I will do with the city. I will interview people, I will learn what their expertise are, and I will choose people who are experts in environment, the park, planning, police, civil service. I will find people who will be qualified for those situations. As far as term limits go, I think there's a natural term limit built in, because every time a new mayor comes in, they get to choose who's on the commissions, and they can choose to take somebody off the commission or put somebody on the commission. So I think there doesn't need to be a rule about term limits, because we do get new mayors once every 4 years. We get an opportunity, and the people are voicing their opinion on if they want that mayor to continue with that or not.
Thank you. Additional comments?
No.
Then we'll move on to the next question. It goes to you first, Mary. Almost 1/3 of the students in the White Bear Lake School District identify as other than white. Talk about steps you think the mayor and council can take to ensure these children and their families feel welcome in the White Bear Lake community.
Yeah, I think we have a large diversity in our schools, and the city, although City Hall and the school district are separate entities, we obviously have a very common thread that runs through both. Currently, the city has a city staff that works with as school resource officers. They also work with the school district. We also have a community organization called Many Faces that I think does a great job at talking about diversity within our community and welcoming people in our community. I would like to work with, I would like to see more work with between the city council and the school district and other communities that touch our school district, and make sure that we are educating the public and making people feel welcome in our community no matter where they come from.
Thank you. The question goes to Stephen.
We have some fantastic entities within our school and our community that they do just great work in making everybody feel welcome, and that's our youth sports organizations. I've got grandkids. We're in football, baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball. And when I see the diversity of the children in all of those programs, and you know what? Everybody there is welcome. Everybody there is encouraged to grow and to be successful. And the volunteers, the parent volunteers that we get there are fantastic. They do a great job, and they welcome every single student that shows up. And so I would like to put a greater focus on that and get greater participation in that, because it's welcoming at that level that those children grow up completely integrated with our community.
Thank you. Additional comments?
Yes, I'd also like to make sure that our police department reflects our community, and also our city council, so that we can make sure kids are seeing people like them reflected in our community. I want to listen, I want to learn, and I want to reflect on what people need, and I think that's what Many Faces organization really does well. I want to make sure people feel welcome in White Bear Lake and that they belong here.
Thank you. Additional comments, Stephen?
No, thank you.
We'll move on to the next question. It goes to you first. How can we keep White Bear Lake affordable for a diverse population of citizens, including young families and seniors?
Well, one thing we can do is more jobs and better jobs. In the way our economy is evolving, we need good jobs. And part of what's happened is there's not been much emphasis on growing local businesses. And local businesses provide a huge employment opportunity within the community. So I want to do some things to try and stimulate local businesses, try to make it easier to start. It's a tough question in that what can you do as a city to answer that? Our charter, again, is police, fire, parks, roads. We have to rely on the marketplace to solve some of these problems.
Thank you. The question goes to Mary.
Yeah, I think our city does a really great job. I mean, if you compare us to other cities of 25,000, we are the lowest. We have the lowest tax rate of anybody, of any of those towns, Shoreview, New Brighton, any of those cities. So I think we are doing our part to help make sure our city stays affordable for families. That being said, I know people are feeling the pinch, and I think there are some things that we can do to help. And I think if we find possible ways to increase the city's income, I don't know if that is bringing in incentives for businesses to come and operate locally. I don't know if that's possibly having parking. Maybe we could raise some funds with parking. Trying to bring income into our city so that it brings taxes down for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments?
I got the recent newsletter, and it showed the graph of how White Bear Lake is lower in its tax burden compared to the other suburbs. And the argument was, well, that's great. We can those other communities pay more, so why don't we increase our taxes 10%? And it's like the reason we're low is we have kept it low, and we need to be vigilant on that.
Thank you. Additional comment?
Yeah, I agree. I want to stay vigilant on keeping our taxes low. I do not intend to raise taxes in White Bear Lake. I also want to point out that we have a fabulous community that has an arts district, which is bringing a lot of people in to White Bear Lake. We have Market Fest that brings a lot of people into White Bear Lake, and all those things help keep our taxes low.
Thank you. The next question goes to you first, Mary. Should White Bear Lake's rental licensing differentiate between short-term, meaning fewer than 30 consecutive days, and long-term rentals? Why or why not? So White Bear Lake's rental licensing.
Yeah, I think they're talking there about Airbnbs and such. And I was at the city council meeting where they were talking about that, and I was so impressed with how well our city council and our lawyer were thinking about this, because I do not want to see what happened in other communities with Airbnbs. We are a family community. We are a residential community. We enjoy our neighbors. We enjoy meeting with people. And I want to make sure that we don't have all these places coming in and treating our neighborhoods like a business. So I would like to make sure that we maintain short-term rentals only in certain areas. I think they're doing a new licensing on that. They took it out of the zoning code, and they're proposing new licensing for that so that people have to get licensed, because currently they don't have to get licensed for that. So if they're licensed, then we can control it more.
Thank you. Question goes to Stephen.
Yeah, I'm intimately familiar with the licensing and rental. I have an auxiliary development unit or dwelling unit in my house. I have a long-term rental license. I had to do that because now that I'm on a fixed income, I'm being taxed out of my house. And I had to bring in some additional income so I can continue to pay my electric and heating bill. The question, I think it's brilliant to push the short term into licensing rather than zoning. That's a very smart thing to do. I need to hear more on it because, again, we are a representative government and we need to represent. So we need to hear from all of the individuals that are looking at this. And so I'm going to maintain an open mind and go through the process.
Thank you. Additional comments?
Yeah, I think another thing that the City Council, I forgot to mention, talked about is with ADUs, making sure that the families who have those ADUs are also living on the property. They have to live in one or other of the property so that we're not getting people renting out their homes and having two places on their property that they're renting out, and they're not there to be held accountable for what's happening in those homes.
Thank you. Additional comments, Stephen?
No.
Then we'll move to the next question. It goes to you first, Stephen. How would you promote respectful democracy in White Bear Lake?
Town halls. You know, the best thing to do is be there, do it yourself, demonstrate tolerance, demonstrate openness, demonstrate listening. I've had some rather awkward discussions with people that I disagree with. And in the beginning, the tension was real high. And you know, best thing I could do was shut up and listen. And I learned a lot about that individual's position. And we need to do that, and we need to take down our fences. And at the end of the day, both Mary and I want the best for this community. We may approach that differently, but we have to go under the assumption that we all want the best for our community. We just have different ways of getting there. We need an open dialogue.
Thank you. Question goes to Mary.
Yeah, I've worked with people from all walks of life my whole life, and I am a person who meets people in the middle. I think we need to have open dialogue. I think we need to learn to live together with respect. I am very good at bringing down the temperature in a room if I feel that it's getting out of control with anger. And I will meet with anybody with respect and try to bring people together to the middle. I think we live in a divisive time. We need to make sure that we're communicating with each other because in the end, we all want the same things. We want safety, we want health, we want our children to be safe, we want this community to continue to thrive so that it can go on to the future. And I will try to be that middle person who's taking views that are maybe far, far over to one side or the other and bring people together in the middle.
Thank you. Additional comments?
No.
We'll move on to what will be our last question, and it'll go to you first, Mary. Are there additional issues that you see the city facing in the near future that you would like to comment on?
Yeah, I think that we're facing, as I already said, a high aging population. I think that we need to help our seniors. I'd like to start a senior task force to try to figure out how we can best help seniors, how we can best help their family caregivers, and how we can combine that with possibly our school system in helping kids that need some mentorship, and maybe we can combine that. So I'm looking at a senior task force who will kind of bring together our community to say, how can we help what's going on here? I also think that we need to fix our downtown infrastructure that has not been done since the 1970s. I know it is already on the city plan. And I would really like to make sure that gets done. People are falling and tripping in the downtown area on the sidewalks. So I would like to see that get accomplished in my time as mayor.
Thank you. The question now goes to Stephen.
You know, I'm in agreement with our senior population. And I have a different approach. When I moved in, Ruth lived next door. Ruth was 84 years old at the time, and over the 25 years that I've been there, Ruth has passed away. her son moved to Michigan, and while she was a widower, while he, got the grass cut and the snow blowed, Ruth was alone. And so I would go and have coffee with Ruth on a regular basis, and I'd send my kids over there to shovel the snow when it didn't get plowed. Ruth came to Thanksgiving at our house for 10 years. And so my motto is better a neighbor close at hand than a city government that's going to have a program. So I encourage everybody to rise up, help your seniors. That's the best thing we can do.
Thank you. Additional comments?
Yeah, I agree. We do need to help our neighbors. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen, especially lately in divisive times. And as a caregiver, I know that you need more than neighbors to help support you. And I think there are a lot of systems in our community and in the surrounding community that we can tap into that will not increase a burden on the city, that will not cost the city anything. It's just reaching out and connecting with other communities to help support our families.
Thank you. Additional comments?
I agree with that. There's civic groups, there's churches. How many churches are taking care of their seniors? Lots and lots of them. So I encourage more involvement with your church. Get going. Rise up. Serve your community. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to closing statements, and they will be in reverse alphabetical order. So we'll begin with Mary Nicklawski.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today and giving me the opportunity to talk. I really care about people, and I care about this community. I moved to White Bear Lake because of the great community, because of the great parks, because of the neighborhoods, because of the parks and the pathways and the lake. And I really want to work for you, for White Bear Lake people. I want to listen to you. I want to work for you. I am retired right now. This is what I have chosen to do with my time. And I really am good at helping people come together. I'm good at collaborating. I'm good at connecting people. I want to help people meet in the middle. These are divisive times. And I really think that if we can meet people in the middle, I think a lot of people in the middle are feeling lost and ignored. And I think it's in community that we're going to honor our past and we're going to prepare our city for future generations. I ask for your vote on November 4th because I care about you and I want to help.
Thank you. Now with this closing statement, Stephen LaLiberte.
I'm actually kind of optimistic about the future. I think we're at a turning point where there's going to be an uplifting of activities in our community. There's positivity coming into the marketplace. There's going to be growth. There's going to be excitement. And I want to put some juice into that. I don't have too much time left, and I want to spend that time growing our community, serving our community. And I hope that you will trust that I will listen, I will discern, I will help govern, and I'd like you to vote for me on November 4th or even tomorrow. Thank you.
This concludes our forum for the City of White Bear Lake Mayor Office. Our website, lwv-wbla.org, has listings of all of our candidate forums and links where you can submit questions for those forums. You can view the recording of this forum and all of our forums on our YouTube channel, League of Women Voters, White Bear Lake Area. You can also look for it on your local cable channel at times of their choosing. Thank you, and remember to vote. Early voting is September 19th through November 3rd. Election day is November 4th. Thank you.